Very much, ladies and gentlemen. Game 6, NA West. We are going to determine our Fortnite Champions Series winners. The last region, the very last game. The battle bus is out and players are descending to their drop spots.
This is where your brain turns into overdrive. This is where all the VOD reviews throughout the whole season, throughout your whole Fortnite career, everything you've learned in every loss, every celebration you've had in every win comes to fruition, right? Every early game, not just in this 3 games, but every single place if you're switching up your drop spot takes into account your experience for the rest of this final game. The newest drop spot though, Gotham City, with our top dogs, including Help Bat Dog, Bubby, and J-Roses, is gonna be explored solo dolo-like. They're gonna be the only trio here setting themselves up on a huge pedestal on top of the pedestal they're on already on the leaderboards towards the rest of this game.
You do have a substantial lead and picking up basically free loot at this point. It's only going to add to the chances that continues. We will see here. Infantry rifle there, going to bypass it for now. That heavy AR does hit like a bus, over 80 for a headshot right there. Multiple chests, a lot of loot here to pick up. Meanwhile, in the bottom right corner of your screen, Barl, Rich Homie Quinn, and Wheels going for the pickaxe, and early aggressive play. Hopefully you can find a weapon or assistance from the teammates. Imagine all 3 dogpile here in a second. Maybe a push on the outside. There it is.
Ooh.
And it's Zedek who opts to go to the opposite side of the map and does not find success doing so. There's no place to hide here on the edge of the cliff this time. He is now put them into a 3v2 situation. Barl very, very weak. Wheels not looking too hot himself. Rich Homie Quinn going to sit here and secure the exit. Carp, Brockster, the rest of that trio inside the lodge. They're going to rotate out the backside, maybe find a different angle. They can push back in and attempt to pick up the card. Maybe a revive, because there's a reboot van here. They have a chance to get him back. Go another grenade toss, see if we can make contact. It actually gets very close. Brockster, I think, had to build to protect. There you go, Barl Wheels getting the HP back at the campfire. The natural spawn is very big there, super important. Carp rotating around the right side. Might see a pinch on Rich Homie Quinn here in a second. We shall see.
Well, I think it might be actually impossible for a pinch to take place. Rich Homie Quinn, one of the big brains of the Fortnite scene in West. He does a lot of VOD reviews on his stream. He does a lot for his team as well in making these last-ditch decision calls. You'll notice how hard or how far his ramps actually progress. It might not be even possible. One person up top, it won't be possible.
Now you see Carp on the right, the bottom right corner of your screen. The minimap, very important. Carp pushing in. Meanwhile, Rich Homie Quinn looks like he's getting challenged potentially directly underneath by Brockster. Carp is waiting. Look at that. He's just basically just sitting there biding his time. That was the ultimate wide angle flank. He rotated all the way around. Wheels going to push up, try and match elevation. Stay up top. Watch for a pinch from the backside. Finds it. Tags there from that suppressed SMG.
Ooh.
Drop back down. Rich Homie Quinn does get caught right there. One knock. A beam from Wheels finds Brockster knocked right there. Going to finish that one off. Down to a 2v1 situation. Carp moving in from above. He now has basically direct descent upon them, but chug splashes.
Yeah.
Big heals right there. You have a team pushing their HP back up in a 2v1 where they now both have high ground on you.
As much as Carp is a water-based fish, Carp in this scenario does not like hearing the sound of splashes appear around him, because that just means that 2v1 gets even harder in the scenario that he's in. Explodes are there too. What a sick block coming in from Wheels with the ramp. A nice dance celebration as well. Genius play once again with the backside coaching of Rich Homie Quinn off of those knockdown comms. That was just a really clean fight to take.
You said water-based fish, and I just can't. I just can't right now, Shy. I just can't, dude. This is big. They get the revive, so Rich Homie Quinn going to come back into the game here in a second. Ours, so a little bit of a loot share. Here and there. We are in game 6, folks. Last match of the Fortnite Champions Series, so do not.
And it's top percentage plays as well. When Barl came up, he's experienced this so much. I talked about all the experience you have in all your games. He's hit it on that reboot van for a long time, not actually catching that reboot, even stopping, baiting shots if possible from the top of the hill. It's everything being played close to the chest. Every secret strat you possibly have is going to be on the field.
You're literally trying to bait to see if there's going to be a third party, because I think they realize that in trios, especially the FNCS so far, Third partying is every single fight. You just have to start. I guarantee the players thinking, all right, who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Every time. So it doesn't surprise me that it kind of just teased it a little bit to see if something was going to happen.
Yup, right now, no third parties at the moment, but there are 3 different parties a part of this fight. It all depends on who engages in terms of who's going to be coming out on top in this field and scenario. To set the base, though, we have 2 trios fully stacked with 3 members and 1 little yellow arrow. I think it's Regulator on the low ground inside the loot town of Lazy Lagoon. He's going to be hoping to hide out, just like we saw Zedek do the other game. Not going to be on a ledge here, so it's going to be very much possible for a trio to find him. When you survive like
likely.
yeah, Zedek kind of like played his whole game out. We didn't see too much happen at the end of it. What options can Regulator do himself to kind of get points for his team?
I think the best course of action at this point is wait to see if these 2 teams do end up on top of each other, and third party, see if he can get some picks on the move. He also has the chance. You see Kevin the Cube at the top, rotate way out, fly his way back in, but that's going to be tough. Geofishy does get beamed out of the air, almost dropped. Madison tagged as well. By the way, the only female player to qualify across every single region, so hats off to her. Well done. Persecute in the feed, picking up a knock on Tavern. Harrians does find the knock. 40R Storm knocks Persecute. You have a number of eliminations. Knocks going back and forth up top. Harrians, Jammies, and Tristan Hip going to make a rotation back down. They don't have to push that. Maybe the host minis shy, kind of a panic.
Call this entire situation going down. I was going to leave what Madison ended up doing. Actually, knockdown because you are very vulnerable in the air. Regulator, being smart, chose to stay back. That is the best way to get away from the situation, but you need to time it well. That's the thing some trios are missing here. Regulator, once again, has isolated a 1v1 in that loot town. The Pelican squad has now dropped down, dropping Harryon's health all the way down to the bottom. They're so split on a big pinch as well, with an Overlord kind of as one of the Pelican sticks, my God, dodged by Jammies. He's going to be benefits.
Pushing in simultaneously from the yeah, by the way, was the second place chance to usurp that spot on the board. We will see whoever's in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and so on at this point. Focus up on the late get fire, push the HP back up. They do have shockwaves to move on in if they need to. Otherwise, you can just run it in. At this point, it's only ticking for 1 HP. Wavy Jacob pick it up a knock. Rich Homie Quinn goes down as well in the feed. Meanwhile, not Mongrel, not Tifu, and not Booga, that's for sure. Stormhold, we will see. By the way, one of the Pelicans did just get knocked in the feed as well.
I think these guys might be making a mistake on what they're doing once again. We talked about it. The cost of doing these early game Stormholds never actually come with good benefits.
True. That being said, this actually, they didn't necessarily know how much HP was left, unless they had engaged them previously. But pushing on the Storm, Mongrel picks up some loot there. Quick eliminations. Both players were already very, very weak. So I would agree, in a majority of situations, making this kind of play call to sit and wait. It's happened literally multiple times today where players give up their positioning to fight right at the edge, and it ends up costing them because they have to move so far. But right here, it works out just simply because the players were already so low.
Yeah, it's a personal mistake that I usually make when I see a rainbow loadout with me and my team. You have shocks, you have a heavy sniper and an RPG. That's not really stuff you utilize to get these early game elims or have such a priority on, right? But this is why these guys are the pros. They know exactly how to divvy out the pressure and exactly what to use. Not that much HP damage taken either. It's very easily taken back from Siphon. One very interesting biome we're at now, though, is the big skull in the middle of the map from that Dogus versus Caddis fight we saw earlier on last season. Over here, that high ground ground, just like Gotham City. There might not be redeploy. For Pisa, there's no chance to survive. But when you're in this actual zone or this portion of the map, you can build all the way up. As long as you're connected to the sword that's in the monster's skull, you will actually not drop and have chances to catch yourself on the way down.
On a wild, a chance to get very, very high elevation up above as players are making this rotation. Bugha, Tfue, Mongraal going to make their way over to a launch pad that was placed not long ago. Loadsman down there in Blix as well on your screen. Players going to rotate in from behind. They might actually end up using the same launch pad, which means there you go, landing on the side of the hill, looking back, trying to take shots. These players that are still on the move. One flying all the way past, looks like fake Bugha trying to find a landing zone down there so that these guys can keep on moving forward. You don't want to wait too long against the edge of the storm. You're going to pay the price in HP, which means if you make a mistake, and here we go, challenging up top. Take a look at this. Tfue looking back up from underneath, opts for the launch, and Blix does go down, which means Loadsman still out there somewhere in the storm. This is an aggressive push to get back up, to get these materials, the siphon off of it, but Blix does go down. There's a little bit of a pickup. Actually very smart, because there are more rockets in there. More RPG shots going to prove important late game if they can make it all the way to the end. Ton of builds left. See Loadsman on your mini-map for just a second flying in there. Looks like he's going to make his way into Gotham City. Right there, bobbing his way in down that little valley. Meanwhile, Matt Tfue still stuck out in the river. Going to tick quite a bit. And there, hear that audio cue? That's the reboot van going down. And I guarantee you're about to see these guys are going to swan dive on it. No reason not to.
They hear exactly what's going on. It is shield bubble, which is very good. You brought up two very good points. Smart decisions, as well as timing and playing the amount of time you are in the game, right? It's game 6. You want to make sure you're making all the right calls, all the efficient calls as well. Mongraal with a big shot does miss, unfortunately. I want to give a quick shout out to Blix, actually, who did go down in that fight. These guys were landing blocked the whole time for the first 5 games. From where they are based, kind of context of their position, they kind of switched off where their landing spot was to get a better chance for the actual fight of the later in portion of the game. The big thing noted though, once you're dropping at a spot you're not used to, that's where mid-game fights don't actually come into fruition. Right now though, Major Mongraal looking in at beams, white tags as well with stinks. This is huge for them.
This is a dirty third party, to be honest. They're sitting at the edge of the storm looking back through the blue, and there's 2 squads fighting it out in the storm. Even if they just get one tag, then these guys end up not pressuring each other. That means these 3 sitting up on the hill do get those eliminations. You see still a little bit of a fight. There we go. The knock, literally, as I said, Not Mongraal picks up the knock on chicken. You see in the feed, Loadsman actually does finish that one off, which ends up being a siphon for the team on the outside. Player flying up, and there it is. And there it is. Loadsman goes down. These guys played that perfectly, waiting, just forcing the fight. Whether they or not they know that that last player is still inside Gotham remains to be seen, and we will find out here in a second. There it is, the shots from underneath. You're going to have those players up top try and coordinate as well. This is honestly one of the best plays they could have made. Even with not Bugha pushing out into the storm, take a little bit of damage there. They still picked up multiple elims off of this, and, I mean, they're still in a decent spot.
Yep, the big thing to actually know here is that, you said it yourself, smart decisions. Usually you can only see this when the zone is so much smaller in the end game, you know, looking back at blue, holding people in the storm. But doing it mid-game, first of all, takes a big risk because you spend so much time in that investment. You spend so many resources not actually getting into the zone. It's huge for them to get those points because right now, this is the last game. No way.
Yo. I can't even deal with this right now. By the way, Hellback Dog, Bubby, and J Roses are the first place team for NA West right now. They are an 18-point lead over third, which is the next closest team that is still in here. Remember, second place got eliminated earlier. A little bit of a take the L right there, and honestly, I don't blame you. What a shot. Clyfin goes down so far away.
Imagine the confidence boost you have from that, the amount of room you kind of push yourself with.
Yo, they hit those.
Yeah, they do hit those.
They hit those.
They've hit a really good spot in the server as well. I believe 55 other players have been knocked out. There's 45 left. That's 100% a possibility of some of those top 10 trios not being in contention. Less threat for them as well. They're sitting so high on the server, but even in their minds, they're probably just relaxing, feet kicked up, waiting for the game to play for them.
You, at this point, like you said, wait for the game to play for them. They have to just sit and bide their time. The opportunities will present themselves. I think one of the things about a competitive player in Fortnite that is very important is patience. You don't have to be the person that's pushing the storm and going after every single fight. If you know where you are on the board, you know where you are, you know, point-wise, you know when to make those kind of plays, when they'll present themselves. Right here, J Roses, he's not stepping out too far. I think right here, biding his time, waiting for this shot. A little bit of a team fire there. The heavy snipe to break the wall. wall and gets 2 tags, including a headshot on the player, literally flying through the air. Well done from J-Rose and squad. They're not the only ones up here, though. You see on the minimap a few teams. Looks like 3 trios, one only a duo to the south, plus that team to the north still in it.
They think that Bubby, Hellback Dog, and J-Roses are going to have the toughest time actually getting into the circle from their position. At the same time, though, they can use a launch pad themselves. They could wait for a recycled launch pad, too. They're going to be moving in, using their own utility to make sure they're on their own page, go somewhere they want to base up, and then play their own game, waiting for the server to respond to them.
It's like a tough little build up there for just a second. It's blocked out by a teammate, but able to match height. Shield bubble goes down, an opportunity to kind of descend without getting challenged on the way in. J-Rose is here sitting at 190. That being said, held back Dog on maybe 40 HP. Meanwhile, on your screen, Psalm, Aiden, Sean, all stacked up also in that same shield bubble. Looks like they were the ones that almost challenged. They pushed for that. And then down at the bottom, your trio of birds, the Pelicans down there. 16 trios, by the way, remaining in the final match of NA West. This is the last game of the Fortnite Champions Series. If you have tuned in, please make sure you've grabbed any clips, anything crazy that's happened. Make sure you hit us up on Twitter with this, including that shot on Sean as J-Roses. They were just challenged moments ago. Jay finds a bead there. Shots from underneath as Bubby's trying to match those hits. Can't quite do it. A 114 is great, but does go down. Trade that may not be worth it in the grand scheme of things. They are, in fact, by the way, fighting. This is a first place versus third place battle of the leaderboard in these boxes. Hellback Dog going to have to drop down. This is literally going to make the difference potentially between a first and second. The team in third, we will see Sean, Aiden, and Psalm there. Hellback Dog gets dropped. Symmetrical pushes in. We have another team rolling in as J-Roses is left out by himself.
It seems that when Hellback Dog goes down, the top dogs of the server come rolling in, hungry to see what they can eat and gain off from points for the rest of this game. Once again, the ripple effect, I will mention it every game. This is the last time, though, since it is the last game. Eliminating someone in first place makes it so that it's so much easier for you to catch up. It lessens the chance for them to get points. Right now as well, this zone, some of the most interesting gameplay you can see based on who has an advantage. It's a big mountain with low ground. The possibility of a bounce back either way could prove monumental for anyone up top on the mountain or anyone on the other side of the zone. It's a very big 50-50 risk.
I want you to know that quote is going to get memed on Reddit. You see the most interesting gameplay, and we're watching J-Roses basically bide his time. That being said, I do not fault him for waiting in there. At that point, there's no reason to step out. You have multiple fights going down, and since he is a solo, unless you have a guarantee or a window peek, maybe a floor edit that you can peek through, take some shots at people undetected, there's no reason to move, and that's exactly what he ended up doing right there. You have J-Truth, Scrupples down there on the bottom. Not Mongrel, Tfue, and Booga. Gonna hold this edit. Watch this combo right there. Big hit inside through the wall. Looks like some 116s from the rocket. They're gonna decide to apply pressure at this point. The heavy snipe's still in. Not Mongrel's inventory, I believe, is loaded, but behind. Now Booga does get knocked. Gonna push back in. Quick reset on some of the surfaces. I don't think he got both the pyramid and the floor as he moved through there, so there's only half of what could be blocking out there, but it is metal, shouldn't be a big deal. The pickup right here, maybe a little mini and HP share. We'll see. 53 points, a total of 8 eliminations thus far, and 4 more trios need to go down before we get into placement. We're at the 50-50 zone, and shots beaming players on the move. At this point, they may have to themselves worry about this surface that they're on because there are still players above. See here, here's the shot. Here's the shot. You have to not, you can't tunnel vision for too long. Yeah, you got the knock on Nibs. Fantastic. Now make sure you divert your attention to those that are immediately around you. So I guarantee you, this edit that they're sitting on right now, it is being watched from at least one person above. It would be ridiculous to assume otherwise. You cannot get too confident here. Nibs, the position he was just in moments ago before he got eliminated, now taken over by other players. Lolicker in the feed, picking up an Elam, and here we go, the pressure, the minigun combo, the shockwave to get back into the safe zone, but that does not mean they're going to stop firing. Not Mongrel, not Tfue, not Booga, continuing this aggressive behavior. 9 eliminations, they do still have a launch pad, and here we go, you see the edits just up above. It blows my mind that no one is taking a peek from the top to see if they can get a hit on somebody. Fratby and Squad are just above them. Mongrel, this team sitting at 55 points. Here we go, a little bit of an edit. It'll look up above. They do that edit and then immediately break to get through as fast as they can. We'll see if they can find a beat on somebody else here.
Yep, half pad comes through. You talk about all eyes on you, Lupo, with that edit. With 30 people just left alive, 14 trios. We're almost at placement. I think the server knows that now as well. The big thing being every movement you make on the bottom side of this map, anyone trying to get ahead of zone is seen. Not Tfue gets seen first out of everyone on the server by Ghost Aiden, who's also in contention for being a big boy on the leaderboards later after we see the standings on the final game of NA West Game 6. Now the rotations come in on the moving zone. Thankfully, everything's away from the mountain. It's going to be pure skill going forward on natural low ground that doesn't change too much. The health bar of Mezabuga is going to change big time. They have to leave their teammate behind. No chance of a res. No chance to get shields down. A risky launch pad, 16 HP, using the cover of trees to move around. He only has 1 minute to base up with unless he sticks with his teammate. All the hard mats being used, only 200 left. They need to make a split. The minigun is in use in their inventory, but they won't have the room to use it if they don't have the HP.
A sacrificial play there to get out. Down to 2 players left. Not Mongrel, sitting at 6 eliminations and still about 140 HP. Meanwhile, Liquid, Riversun, Cease, and Elevate from 100 Thieves get the knock. Makin goes down. The elimination. Siphon comes through, pushing out and making this tunnel happen as they try to track down as many players as they can on the move. Everybody's got to go north. Cease down to only 82 HP. That one shield right there as well. Going to move through, follow Elevate. You want basically Elevate to be the front of this steam engine, pushing through to the next section of builds, and Cease 113 now. Going to look back, make sure nobody's following a very intelligent play. And that right there is huge for trios. He doesn't have to worry about what's in front. His job is watch behind, and he does an excellent job. Nobody's back there, but he does have a chance right there for just a second. Maybe a little bit of a pre-fire on the shotty. Finds a teammate knock, but the shotgun comes through, and Aiden goes down. The remainder of that trio is eliminated. Riversun does have to be sacrificed to the storm.
Yep, right now, Cease is going to be the front man of this trio. He's going to be looking everything at the back, all the points available from the Storm. Although Elevate might be the one pathing and making the plays in front of him, Cease has to confirm. As I just said, Elevate goes down. He's the last one left, has the shields, the bigs, might not be used. Elevate on the bottom. He's going to try to stay protected. He finally goes down. Cease takes an RPG to the face. 3 trios left, 4 people alive. In the last game, 29 HP. The numbers getting lower, lower, and lower in placement and health resources. Cease built fighting in zone for height. Doesn't actually get it, almost does actually. I'm not sure who's on height. It might be him. He checks, he gets up, his entire playground, but he doesn't have the tools or the building blocks to play with.
It's a 1v1 situation. Cease and 100 Thieves on his back. Right now, looking down from above, 5 eliminations, an opportunity, a crazy opportunity to top shield off. You do not see that very often. Lolicker sitting at almost the same HP, although it's totally shifted to the green bar. Cease, the ultimate high ground. A little bit of a beam from above. There's just a little bit of pressure. Lolicker, you see him popping the full shield. Cease might hear the audio cue and know that this is going to be a 100-100 player in just a minute. We will see. He's going to have to find a big pump shot. We've talked about it repeatedly. That's basically the theme right now. He doesn't have the inventory for a heal off. He's going to have to go for it. Only 10 builds, and this might be the shot right here. Maybe an SMG spray, a drop down with a pump, and a swap to the SMG is kind of the only opportunity. Lolicker, this is a back and forth, a dance for the victory royale of Game 6 for NA West. Cease, a little bit of pressure. The SMG shots from above. He's going to build those layers. The drop-in forces a 95 shotgun shot. Still shield in there. Finds a little bit of damage, but cannot escape the aim of Lolicker, securing that victory royale. Shy. Ridiculous. But I need analysis. If you could, please, gentlemen, before we go too much further here, what's going on?
We're going to see exactly how things were broken down. Zeke Sundown